Cartoon Network 64. Well, this is an interesting one. So I keep getting this question asked towards me. How are you going to review Billy and Mandy and Evil Con Carne when they appear on the marathon twice? If you're wondering what these guys mean, they mean this. Yes, these shows appear twice. So what exactly is the deal here? Maxwell Atoms, the creator of both shows, originally had these shows aired together. They were part of a series of segments that would have the same half hour together. One half Billy and Mandy, and the other half Evil Con Carne. Then when they got popular enough, they were both separated from each other and became their own shows. Okay, does that make sense? No? Well, too bad. It's the best one that I got. For this, I only watched seasons 1 and 2 of Billy and Mandy, and season 1 of Evil Con Carne. And I'll watch and discuss the rest of those shows when we get to their own episodes next year. Since Billy and Mandy came first, we'll start the video off with that half of Grim and Evil. So, why is the Grim Reaper living with a 9-year-old boy and being bossed around by a 9-year-old girl? Because the Grim Reaper made a bet with these two. A limbo contest to be precise.
If you win, which you won't, I'll be your best friend forever. I love games, and I never lose.
And guess what? He loses the contest. And then is basically forced to be with these two forever, because he wanted a hamster that he lost a bet to. So he bet his life, which was incredibly stupid on his part that he regretted instantly.
I loathe you. Why me?
But yeah, that's the premise of the show, and that's why he stays with them. Pretty much every single episode can happen at any time and any continuity. There's some continuity to the show, but it's not as much as anything later on. It's one of those shows where anything can happen, anything goes for any episode, and they can end at random places. The show starts off simple. They do things at first like having Billy's mom be scared of Grim.
You'll realize what time it is. Have you seen two? There you rascals are.
And then shortly, a couple episodes afterwards, they ramp it up really fast.
You can pick your friends, and you can pick your nose. But you can't pick your friend's nose.
Billy and Mandy are great. I can't say it would make my top 10 favorite Cartoon Network cartoons of all time. As much as I love dark humor, it's not my absolute favorite type of comedy. No, that would be slapstick. That's usually my favorite type of comedy. Things like Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, and SpongeBob. But Billy and Mandy still does really great dark humor. One little detail that I love is that at pretty much at the end of each intro, Mandy comes out and says something different each time.
What are you looking at? We accept you. We accept you. One of us. You can change the outcome of this cartoon with the power of your mind.
And I love the cast of characters. Besides the obvious three, there's Erlen. He may seem like an annoying dorky best friend, but he usually suffers for it in funny ways that don't come off as too harsh. And I love Billy's dad. I know some people hate the dumbass dad, but I don't mind because he's super funny. And Nergal is a funny demon. I first thought that Wayne Knight was the voice, considering he looks like Mr. Blick, and Wayne Knight voices Mr. Blick in Cat Scratch. But it's actually David Warner for his first two appearances. You may know him best as the Lobe from Freakazoid. Wayne Knight did voice a character later on in Billy and Mandy, but we'll talk about him in the Billy and Mandy Cartoon Network 64 episode. Full on one. One last thing to mention of the Billy and Mandy half is the voice acting in general. This is my absolute favorite role of Richard Steven Horvitz. Yes, even more than Zim from Invader Zim and Daggett from Angry Beavers. Just everything about Billy is just an absolute joy. I love his laugh, I love his mannerisms, and he's just a goofy, funny character that I love everything on.
Irwin! I bet you're not indisposed at all, Irwin. I bet you're just sitting on the...
Billy, get up!
She ate his brains!
He does have a weirder appearance in Season 1, but Season 2 onwards I'm used to his design and I love it. And now for Evil Con Carne, the other half of Grim and Evil. Unlike Maxwell's other show that got really famous, this one didn't quite get as popular. And honestly, I don't know why anyone would like this one. I'm pretty sure that there are people out there that love Evil Con Carne, but I don't think I could name anyone that loves it more than Billy and Mandy. Because this show is boring. And you'd think that it'd be more interesting since it was made by the same guy who did Billy and Mandy. You know, Maxwell Atoms. But nope, it's just not that fun. So this brain named Con Carne wants to take over the world. And he has a brother stomach thing with him as well that gets to be part of a bear. He was once part of a famous guy, but he exploded and died. Only the stomach and brain survived. You'd think with Con being evil that he would have belonged to someone like a dictator. But no, he's part of a famous rich guy that wasn't evil. What? Oh, okay, correction on my part. He was a crime lord, billionaire, playboy. You'd think the intro would correct that, but they don't. I still think the dictator thing would have been better. According to Wikipedia, his goal of the show, besides taking over the world, is to find his remaining body parts that were scattered during the explosion. That's dark, but unlike Billy and Mandy dark, that's not a fun dark. A lot of the problems with this show is the fact that the episodes are too short. I haven't seen season 2 yet, but I heard in season 2 that they make the episodes 11 minutes long, which is good because these 7-minute episodes don't fit the mold. I mean, how much more fun would the episode League of Destruction be if it had more time? It could have been something as good as Jimmy Neutron's League of Villains. Then again, despite Billy and Mandy also only having 7 minutes, they actually did able to make out well with its time. Sure, some episodes as well as like Get Out of My Head could have also been 11 minutes instead of just 7, but they at least were able to make the 7 minutes worth it and didn't demand longer times like Evil Karn. One thing that makes this show weaker than its sister show is that Billy and Mandy lived out the evilness, while this show tries to live out the evilness and fail. I mean, Evil Karn wants to take over the world. Billy and Mandy don't do that, but it did get sadistic. I really would love a change of pace where the villains win. But they don't do that here. They did in Billy and Mandy. One episode, Nurgle actually won in the end. So I don't see why they couldn't do that in Evil Karn. Billy and Mandy wasn't really about good guys winning. So why does Evil Karn have to be? Do we really need Cog Commando from Spork always winning? I get it. If Karn won, then there'd be no more show. But still, I think you could try making it work. Yes, every other show ever has the good guys win. But wouldn't it be nice to subvert that? I know this show came out over 20 years ago, so subverting things wasn't a thing yet, but it would be nice to try that nowadays. I don't mean go do the whole anti-hero thing like in Megamind. I just mean have a villain win and have fun with it. General Scar wants to control Bunny Island. It's interesting seeing two villains on the same team against each other. What's not interesting is not exploring this concept well enough. Why couldn't they have an episode where Scar becomes control of Bunny Island and bosses Karn around, or kick Karn out? I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. It's also weird when this show references other Cartoon Network shows. I'm not against it referencing Billy and Mandy like how Scar has a Grimwatch, but we get parodies of the Powerpuff Girls and Samurai Jack, and they're kind of random. Actually, that's why I don't like it. It's random, but not good random. A show like Chowder does good random references. Okay, the Samurai Jack parody I will admit works because of Phil Lamar. You know him voicing Samurai Jack. For Powerpuff Girls, I don't know. The movie was airing around this time, I think. It's still just boring. As for Evil Karn's characters, well, as I said, Scar is not that interesting. Dr. Ghastly is your stereotypical mad scientist. Boskov is just a bear and he's stupid and he eats. And Karn is just mwahaha. I do, however, think his voice acting is my favorite part of the show. That's Phil Lamar. But I did have to look it up, because doesn't he sound like Grimm?
I still hate you though.
What in Santa's name are you doing?
Don't they sound the same? Even though Grimm's voice actor is Greg Eagles. But if you can't get Greg Eagles for a Grimm role for whatever reason, get Phil Lamar to do it. He sounds like he'd be a great replacement. I think Evil Karn could be tried again in today's world. I'm sure people wouldn't be against this idea. People are loving the fact that Learn with Pibby is becoming a real cartoon, so the crossover aspect of Evil Karn can definitely be done right. We just now need the evil aspect done correctly. Maybe if Evil Karn was an adult cartoon, they could then get away with more evil stuff, like I said, dictatorship. I would recommend Grim and Evil to people, but just for the Billy and Mandy half, since it's funny and memorable. Just skip the Evil Karn half. It's really boring and unmemorable.
Coming up next, it's...